The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Get up to £500 refunded as real money for new Jeff Banks online accounts after your first month of betting. Use promo code FFP500 at jeffbanks.bet. And by BetterHelp. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Our listeners get 10% off your first month. So give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/FURLONG.
It's the weekend forecast on the Final Furlong podcast. I'm joined by Barry Allen himself. The Flash is here. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll get that. If not, well, then I'm sorry for you. But hey, it's great to have you on the audio podcast as well. Andy Newton, Peter Michael, and me, Emmet Kennedy, taking you through the best betting opportunities for the weekend. There's some good jumps racing at Chepstow. It's great to have the jumps back. There's some good international racing as well. We're very much focused, though, on Newmarket on Saturday. And we'll begin with our first race, which is the Newmarket Space Blues Darley Stakes, Group 3 over 1 mile and 1. The betting with Jeff Banks Bet is headed by lead artist for Kieran Schumark and John and Thady Gosden after Group 1 glory at Paris Longchamp on Orc Weekend? What a start. Arc Weekend, 9-4 from Liberty Lane, who had just a slight bit of track bias when winning the big handicap a week or two ago. 7-2 shot for the informed Carl Burke. William Haggis Almabeer is a 6-1 shot. Ancient Rome, first run after a wind-up, after a disappointing performance in America in a race he had won the year before, a 7-1 shot. And Skillet for Rafe Beckett and Ryan Moore is an 8-1 shot. Peter Michael, who do you like in our first live race?
Well, it's a open enough race, Emmet. I know what we have, we've 9 runners. And from what I'm looking, it's around 3-1 the field, so it's open enough. But I'm going to hope that Kieran Schumark can get his Saturday off to a winning start for John Gosden. John and Thady Gosden, sorry, I should say. I think lead artist is the one to beat here, but it is an open race. Kinross beat him last time. Now, I have to admit, I didn't fancy Kinross that day. I think when we did the podcast, they said he was one I wasn't keen on, so I was wrong. Kinross won and won well. But I think lead artist, he's only had, 5 runs. So he's still open to progression, and he seems to be going the right way in his career. Whilst it's an open race, I think he's the one that they have to beat. There's no guaranteed front runner in this race, so that's something to look out for. I think he should stay the extra furlong. He's won over 8 furlongs. He's come third at Newmarket and second on his debut at Newmarket, where he was unlucky. So the tracks will pose not a problem to him, and he'll be the one I'd be putting up as the most likely winner.
Okay, Andy, for you?
Yeah, I'm boringly going to go with lead artist as well. I think I picked it up last time as well, but got just maybe got a tiny bit outpaced. So agree with Peter. Back up to the mile. Back up in trip here. Well, it's mile 1, isn't it? So I think that will definitely suit. Gosden's won this before as well. So yeah, breeding looks like the trip will be fine. Couple of sort of weird, interesting stats. Draw here. 9 of the last 11 have been drawn like quite high, 7 or above. Lead artist is just outside that in 6. So 7 Piece Man. Who's in 8, the Foxes and Ancient Rome is in 9. So something there. But it's been quite a good race for the 3 and 4 year olds. So there's only lead artist, Liberty Lane, Skillet, the other Juddmonte horse, and the Foxes here. Only 4 of those qualify. I think 8 of the last 11 have gone to a 3 or 4 year old. So that's another. I mean, it's probably worth mentioning as well, Spirit Dancer. I mean, there's a horse in this race that's won 1.7 million. And he's actually the top rated in the race as well. 118 Fergie horse. Obviously, it sort of banked mega bucks in Bahrain and Riyadh, didn't it? But first run back for a while, can't really see that. And then the other weird one is, I mean, I don't know whether you guys know the answer to this, but why is Ross Orion riding Savvy Victory and not Skillet?
Yes,
for betting, because Skillet has been ridden by Ross Orion many times before. The only thing I could read into it was Ryan Moore did ride the filly when I think it came second at Newmarket on this track before. But it's just a weird one because Ross Orion's never ridden Savvy Victory either. So anyway, just a bit of a conundrum there that I don't know the answer to. Maybe someone does, but yeah, I think there's a chance it could be a 1-2 really for the Juddmonte guys here. I mean, Skellett was a nice winner at Sandown last time. It was a listed race, so yeah, it needs to step up, but gets weight, doesn't it, being a filly? So wouldn't surprise me if it's a 1-2 here for the Juddmonte. I think Liberty Lane, like you say, had the benefit of the good side in the Cambridgeshire, but sort of up in class here. I mean, obviously likes the track, so there's a bit of a squeak for that one. But I think, yeah, Lead Artist and Skellett will be the two here for me, Emmet.
I was going to say weight, but it can't be because he's ridden 11 stone. 8 stone 11 is the lowest he can do, and he rode an 8 stone 12 horse the other day, so it's not that.
Yeah, good point.
I was perplexed by this as well. He's the arc-winning jockey for these connections, and yet he's not riding their horse. I actually like Skellett for this race. I think she comes in with a real big chance. She's a half-sister to Skitter Scatter, but she's the complete opposite. Skitter Scatter was a tiny little thing who didn't really train on as a 3-year-old. She's a big, tall, good-topped filly. Won her maiden on good to firm ground over 7 furlongs last year. Won a listed race over a mile on good ground last time out against the boys. And they were some battle-hardened opponents she was going up against that day. She shaped better than the bare result as well. It did well to beat a rival who got in first run on her. Travelled really well throughout that race. And that was her first run outside of group company since she'd won her maiden in 4 starts. She's got some very good form. Second to Dan Sequence, who went on to be second in the Oaks, beaten 6.5 lengths by Fallen Angel in the 1,000 guineas at the Curragh, and a similar margin behind Porta Fortuna, Opera Singer, and Ramatuel at Royal Ascot, all of whom go on to win Group 1s. See the Fire was just in front of her that day. She goes on to win a Group 3. She's improved in her last 2 starts in cheek pieces. She gets Ryan Moore for the second time. The last time he was on board her was this time last year when she was second to Dan Sequence. If she handles the ease in the ground, she's got the class to place at least. And I think she's got the class to go and win it as well. Particularly with all the allowances being given to her. The draw is a little bit of a doubt for me after Andy put that in, but 8-1 with Jeff Banks bet is more than fair compensation for Skellett, who I'm going to go with for our first race of the afternoon, the 115 even to the 150, which is the Newmarket Palace Pier Zetland Stakes. I think I can speak. Can I? Can my mouth words work? Great. Thanks very much. I mean, we're only doing a podcast here. It's not like speaking matters or anything like that. Dearie me. Ryan Moore and Aidan O'Brien have got the favourite in Shackleton, who's probably a little bit unlucky to take 3 starts to win a maiden, but his form has been working out very well. And Jeff Banks goes 2-1 about him from Stars in the Rise for Rafe Beckett and Ross O'Ryan, an 11-4 shot. Mass for Jonathan Thady Gosden, 4-1. County Mayo, very impressive at Goran Park after a pretty uninspiring first run, but put the experience to good use the last day, is an 8-1 shot. Andy, let's go with you first. Who do you like in the Zetland over a mile 2?
Well, yeah, I mean, this used to be, recently it's been a good race for Godolphin, isn't it, and Boys in Blue, but...
Where's their horse?
There's no runners for them. They're giving someone else a chance here. So I mean, O'Brien's got a couple, Ryan's getting the ride on Shackleton, decent winner last time at the Curragh, wasn't it? The form of that race, we don't know. It's a little bit questionable. We have to just see. It's only had 3 runs, but it's obviously improving. I think the longer trip will be fine. That's probably the safest call. The Beckett horse, Stars in Their Eyes. That was second to Field of Gold at Newmarket in July, so that's fairly good form. It's won at Leicester since then. It was quite a battled, hardened run. Took a bit of time to get going. So I think the longer trip here is another one that's going to suit that. I think, but it's a funny one, that one, because the breeding is interesting because it's got quite a lot of speed in there with I can't remember who it is now. Is it Star Spangled Banner maybe? And there's a bit of stamina in there as well. But on the sort of evidence of its run last time, it did look like it needed further. So Stars in Their Eyes is certainly interesting. And then who has trained the most winners of this race? Mark Johnson.
Oh.
With 5.
I was going to say Charlie.
Charlie, yeah. No, well, yeah, but yeah. So he has got one in this, Green Storm. So yeah, I mean, it bowled up at Yarmouth last time out. This is obviously a massive step up. I think it was about 9.5 lengths or something like that. But it did run Seagulls 11 to a couple of lengths or so at Haydock in June. So there's some form there that gives it a bit of a squeak. There is one bit of a neg though with the draw. It's drawn 1, and only one of the last 16 renewals of this have been drawn 1, which is not ideal for Green Storm fans. So realistically, I mean, obviously Gosden's got one in there as well, that Dunham Mass. He's won this before with Coronet. Kingman, horse, Trip, question mark. Won last time at Kempton, fairly comfortable. I think the form's been Frank, the second, I think, in that race, has come out and won since. So, it's like all these 2-year-olds, you don't need me to tell you that a lot of them are going to improve from, race 2, race 3 and so on. But I think the safest bet here, probably just stick with O'Brien. He's won this a couple of times fairly recently with Kew Gardens in Norway. So Shackleton, Ryan Moore, O'Brien for Andy.
Well, he had 8 entries for this race on Monday, and he's whittled it down to Shackleton and County Mayo, who took each other on when County Mayo was making his debut. He clearly badly needed that run that day, but I suspect he'll get a bit closer to him on this occasion. Who are you with, Peter?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're looking at a race like this, 10 furlongs for 2-year-olds, and if O'Brien has 1 or 2 in it, you have to respect them, because you'd imagine they're going to turn into stayers next year and the year after. And Aidan O'Brien, in my own mind and my own view, whilst he doesn't have many of them, when he steps horses up in trips, doesn't matter what age they are, it's worth taking note, and he always churns out very, very good stairs. So for that, you have to respect anything he runs in this race. But in saying that, I'm going to go for Stars in Their Eyes. As Andy said, he made his debut behind Field of Gold, who is a very classy horse. There's been a lot of winners to come out of that race, well, a few anyway. And then he went on after that and won by a length and a half. And I don't think he was doing a whole pile in front that day. It was on soft ground. And he's stepping up in trip now, 3 furlongs, which obviously, it's quite a big step up in trip for a 2-year-old, but they must be pretty confident that he'd get it, otherwise they wouldn't put him over 10 furlongs at this stage of his career. Mark Chan, his owner, always comes up with 1 or 2 good horses every now and again, and this could possibly be another, high quality horse for him. But I would without doubt respect anything O'Brien runs in this, but I just think Stars in Their Eyes brings more to the table in this race, and that's what I'm going to go for.
Aidan wins it. The question is which of the 2. County Mayo really stepped up on his first run to go and win at Goran Park. Dropped down in trip as well, back to a mile. He beat Tribal Nation that day, who was very well fancied in the market, and came into it with pretty decent form from a Curra Maiden that looked, at least on paper, like it was a pretty decent race. I imagine it is. He's a Wooden Basset who's improving. It's only his 3rd start. Who knows how much improvement there is to come. But I expect him to be very, very handy, if not go and make all like he did at Goran the other day. And I think he'll just tow Shackleton into this. I think his form is better. Just bumped into one at Tipperary in Tennessee Stud, and that horse has gone on to be 2nd in the Group 2 Beresford Stakes on his next start. That's pretty damn good form. His maiden looks pretty good too. And I thought last time out he showed a lot of stamina, and he had plenty more to offer towards the finish of the race as well. He wasn't stopping. He'll stay. He's a boat, but he's a boat with a bit of a change of gear. This is going to be ideal for him, and I think he'll just tear this lot to pieces. I don't think there's anything that's going to have.
In that last race, it was because I don't know the name of the horse, but it came up sort of next to it, didn't it? And then Shackleton, you thought they might be in for a bit of a battle, and then just sort of went again. And I think the actual winning distance was 2.5 or something, or 2.25.
It was the Lapini horse, wasn't it?
But, was it? Yeah, was it? But nice attitude. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
sort of, on again, and more to come. I would have thought. Yeah, I agree.
I would be nervous if County Mayo, and he might go off a bigger price here because it's Wayne, and they'll just see him as a 2nd string. I wouldn't underestimate him at all. This could be a 1-2. I think Shackleton will win. And he's a very similar profile to Norway, who won this race back in 2017. He'd been beaten in his first 2 races, then won his 3rd, and then came and won this. So I think the stamina is there. The stamina is definitely there. He's a boat. I'd say this fellow was in line for the Criterium de Saint-Cloud, the Group 1 that Los Angeles won and Illinois was placed in last year over 10 furlongs. And the fact that they're coming for this instead, the Group 3, I think they've got something else for that. This guy will win here. I think County Mayo is the danger to him. I'll keep it very simple. It's going to be an Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore win yet again on a Saturday. In a shocking turn of events, Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore in the winners' enclosure. Will they be in the winners' enclosure, though, for the Emirates Autumn Stakes, the Group 3? Godolphin show up with a juvenile in this race, but they don't have the favourite. Aidan and Ryan do. Delacroix, a 6-4 shot, having his third start, beaten as a odds-on favourite in Group Company at the Irish Champions Festival last time out. Silver Peak from stall 1, we'll have Andy explain that to us in a second, is a 4-1 shot with Jeff Banks bet. Stanhope Gardens, very interesting horse for Rafe Beckett and Ross O'Ryan, 5s. Wolf of Badenoch, we all kind of liked him a few weeks ago. He might improve for the step up and trip, but he needs to. 11-2, Nightwalker, 9s, and Genealogy, who produced an extraordinary performance to somehow pull victory from the jaws of defeat last time out. It was a phenomenal ride from Ryan Moore at Punchestown. He looked absolutely cooked and then got going again to beat a Gerline's horse who has subsequently been beaten still. I think he needs about 2 miles at least, but cue him going and winning by 5 lengths now. Peter Michael, who do you like in the Autumn Stakes?
Well, again, I mean, Aidan has 2 in it, and you have to respect him, you know. But again, I'm going to go against him, which means he's going to clean up. I'm going to go with the Godolphin horse, Silver Peak.
Yes.
I thought, okay, well, that's 2 of us then, I take it. Am I right?
Yeah.
And that's why you're wearing blue for Godolphin.
Oh, pure coincidence, but yeah, let's go. Trying to get back in Charlie Appleby's good books.
He ran a nice enough racing debut in Kempton behind a very high-class horse who absolutely hosed up again, I think, yesterday. He's, you know, that Detain looks a serious animal.
Yeah.
And, you know, he ran a nice race, and he ran a race that would, you know, you would think that he'd come on first, and that's exactly what he did on his second start. He won by 2 lengths at Haydock. And I think let me just double check this. Yeah, he took a little while to get going, but then when he got going, he ended up winning easily. He won by 2 lengths, but he could have won by more if Buick wanted. And I think there was progression, even though that was a very good first run, there was progression from his first run to his second run. And he strikes me as a type that could progress again. And now he'd need to I mean, Delacroix was second in the Group 2. And you could argue that day that, you know, he could have won it. So he's obviously the one to beat. But if the price is at 4-1, Silver Peak is the one I'm going to be going for. Wolf of Badenoch, I couldn't. We all fancied him the last time, and I don't know what happened there. He just didn't really run a race. So, you know, if he comes back to his previous first 2 runs, you know, he's a bit of value at 6-7-1 as well. And there's a few other unexposed ones in it as well, which, you know, you can't rule out them. But at the prices, with the form he has and the way he's progressed from 1 to 2, I think he'll progress again. Silver Peak will do me, lads, in this race.
I suppose the positive for Wolf of Badenoch is going up and trip will help him, and Aftermath has come out and won since. So at least the form has gotten a bit of a boost, but no.
Well, he was just waiting. He didn't run his race. Now, look, you always forgive a horse one bad run, so that's why he's 6-1 here, I guess, because of that run.
Yeah, he'd need to be a little bit bigger in my mind. If he was bigger, I'd consider him. Delacroix, that's lovely horse. That Bernard Shaw just broke my heart the other day in Dundalk. I didn't know what to make of it. He blew the start, but that wasn't the thing that lost him the race. He didn't find a whole lot towards the end. It's not exactly a ringing endorsement of the form. Doesn't mean that Delacroix can't win. I'm sure he'll improve from his third start to his fourth, and he does set the standard. I don't think it's a massive standard he sets. I know at the start there was a bit of talk that he might be a special horse. I think what you've seen since is he's not. And I think he's there to be beaten. 6-4 is short enough in my mind. He's definitely the one they all have to beat, and maybe he goes and wins. It's beautiful pedigree. But Silver Peak, the way William Buick was talking about this fella on Racing TV after he won his second start was really quite something. And the Racing Post thankfully took note of it. He was just caught out a little early on, and we ended up where we were. But I expected him to come into the race like he did, and he's a nice horse for the future. I couldn't be more pleased with him today. That in itself, yeah, that's pretty, but it's the way he was saying it. He seemed to be really, really taken with this fella. Cost a bloody fortune, as most Godolphin horses do, to be fair. €1.25 million as a yearling. Doesn't do things fast, but doesn't need to in this race. And I think he's an improving horse who will be very well suited to this. This is a home game for him. It's an away day for Delacroix. Really, Silver Peak should be ready to just go and get the job done for Charlie Appleby. And the fact that they're being selective with the 2-year-olds they're running means they only want to go and run the horses they think can actually win. And I'd be surprised if this fella isn't at least in the shake-up. If Delacroix is on a going day and he goes and wins, fair enough, I'll take my beating. But at 4-1, I think he's the one to bet on, and I could absolutely see him going off much shorter. So I'm with Peter. Andy, for you?
Well, it's going to be a clean sweep, boys. It's going to be a Silver Peak clean
Don't
sweep.
screw us, Charlie. Don't screw us.
This horse.
And I'll tell you why.
Three of us picking this horse, he's fucked.
Yeah, it's going to be. I'll tell you what. Look, Aidan O'Brien, he's never won this race. God knows why. Don't know how many runners he's had. Blah,
Somewhere
blah, blah.
Mark Holder is going, that doesn't matter. The stats don't matter.
Exactly. Well, you know what? Don't care, right? But Mr. Holder. But that is, look, if you'd latched onto that stat over the years, the last 10 years that O'Brien has never won this race, then, you'd be quids in. So, that surely is a angle with the stats. In contrast, Mr. Appleby and Mr. Buick have won the last 4. Godolphin have won, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the last 8, because there's a side Bin Saror double in there as well.
Oh, even more than that. Persian King is Godolphin.
Oh, and Persian King Godolphin as well. Forgot about that. So they've won all of the last 8. Is that right?
Yeah.
8? Yeah, bang. So look, this has been a blue race, and I think it will be again. Appleby, no secret, he's got a super duper strike rate of his 2-year-olds at Newmarket, 35%. Buick, very similar, I think 36% when he's riding the 2-year-olds. But I don't know what the prices are at the moment. I think it's 13 to 8, 4 to 1. I mean, I'll be amazed if Silver Peak is still around 4 to 1 come Saturday. I would think there will be a lot closer, these two. And I'll tell you another reason why is that Haydock run last time out. The second, did you see the second on Monday at Pontefract? Ross Ryan's first ride back in this country since winning the Arc, and it absolutely dotted up by about 8 lengths. Okay, look, God knows what it beat at Pontefract on Monday, but if you watch that back, absolutely bolted up. So that's another further plus. Silver Peak beat Sir Dinadan's the name of the horse by 2 lengths that day. So yeah, step up to a mile, as you said last time, was taking a bit of time to warm to the task over 7. So that's going to be perfect as well. And I think you can just sort of pick some holes in some of the others, can't you? We've already mentioned Genealogy, Delacroix, that Bernard Shaw thing last week.
If that Genealogy wins this race,
no, come on. I mean, after last time, I don't know how it won last time, to be honest with you. But
how did he win? He was being scrubbed along, and
Ryan Moore, and he's not even on it. So that's it. No disrespect to Wayne, but
he must have had a Red Bull or something to give him a boost of energy. He had his Lucasade. It's just insane.
I'd like to have seen the in-running exchanges.
Carnage. Well, not really, because the Betfair exchange is dead, and they're the ones killing it. But
you know what I mean.
Betdac would have been interesting.
And what was that old one? It was that was it called WBX? Was there one called that?
Oh, yeah.
Years ago. Do you remember that?
I forgot that one. Yeah.
Fighting Fifth.
Yeah.
And they pumped a bit of sponsorship into some races, didn't they? But anyway, we are moving on. Yeah, and like we say, Wolford Badenoch, we all liked it a few weeks ago, but I know after last time, I think we're going to put a line through that. We'll like to step up and trip. The only other one in there is a stout horse, Nightwalker.
Oof.
But again, one quite well at Yarmouth, but it looked a bit of a 2-horse race, didn't it? So I don't know how deep that the form of that is. So look, Silver Peak, it just ticks all the boxes like this one. Godolphin and the form of the last race.
Pop quiz, hot shot. How many winners has Sir Michael Stout had this season?
20.
Peter?
I don't know. By the way you asked me, it's less. So I'm going to say 17.
Oh, it's 26.
26. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? It's sad to see.
That's awful. It's not good at all. But Dylan Cunha has had, I interviewed Dylan Cunha the other day, a really fascinating interview. If you haven't watched it yet, if you haven't listened to it, highly recommend you do. He's a fascinating guy. But he was talking about how he has less horses this season than last year. And he's had 27 winners. And he was saying that that's more than some of the more established, bigger trainers. And the trainer that came to my mind was Sir Michael Stout, 26.
Yeah.
Mad.
Dylan's a great trainer as well.
Yeah.
He's a man going places, I think.
Yeah. That's somebody you want to be supporting and definitely following his horses as well. All right, we're all on board the Charlie Appleby train. If Silver Peak gets beaten in this race, I presume he'll be gelded. And that'll be classic. That seems to be the modus operandi.
Draw one as well. Draw one. That's not a bad thing.
Oh.
Two of the last four have been drawn one, so we're happy with that for Silver Peak. All right. It just gets better and better.
Listen, this is real simple. The three of us are on board, right? The three of us, our combined might, have all come up with the idea. We can't be wrong. He's an absolute stone cold solid moral. Gamble responsibly and all that malarkey. But yeah, he'll win. He'll win.
It won't be 4-1, that's for sure.
He won't be 4-1, and he'll win.
Not after Andy piles on.
But they won't win the next race. The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet, where tradition meets cutting-edge technology, and with major flat racing festivals on the horizon and the new jump season about to kick off properly, it's time to leave behind the corporate bookmakers who don't value your loyalty. At this point, you've got to be fed up of their restrictions, endless affordability checks, and losing out on incentives just because you dare to win a bet. Jeff is the bookmaker fighting for your right to bet, giving you the freedom to enjoy British and Irish racing the way it should be, and you can watch all that racing on the Jeff Banks Bet app. So say goodbye to bookies who want you to lose your hard-earned money on their online casinos and say yes to unbeatable odds and a bookmaker that truly values your custom, Jeff Banks Bet. Final Furlong podcast listeners who sign up to Jeff Banks online using the promo code FFP500 can get 10% of any net losses returned as cash after your first month of betting up to £500. It's an offer you won't see anywhere else. Visit jeffbanks.bet today and enter promo code FFP500 and join the excitement. That's jeffbanks.bet using promo code FFP500 because your betting experience deserves more. The Darley Dewhurst Stakes. And if this ancient truth is the superstar that we've been told, catching pigeons on the gallops, beautiful pedigree by Dubawi out of an Australia mare, we can't wait to unleash this beast. Yeah, so we're going to supplement Shadow of Light, who we've already said is a Commonwealth Cup horse for next season. We don't envisage him as being a Guineas horse, but we're going to run him over 7 furlongs in a Group 1 juvenile race, taking on the horse that we've been telling everybody is this superstar.
And Buick is going to ride Shadow of Light. And
Buick's going to ride Shadow of Light too. Yeah, cheerio. Does anybody have James Doyle's number? If they don't, if the Watan boys don't have anything for this one, do you reckon we can get him back for one last hurrah? This is crazy stuff. The Lion in Winter just crushes this field. I'm imagining, as long as that setback didn't take too much out of him, 10-11 on. Should we try that again? 11-10 on, because otherwise it would be 11-10. 10-11 with Jeff Banks Bet for the Lion in Winter, he's already beaten one Godolphin Superstar, and now he's going to go and beat 2. Ryan Moore, Aidan O'Brien, they've got a deadly record in this race. Is he the one they all have to beat? Is the Jeff Banks War Room right? Have the Boiler Room boys got it spot on? Duck for cover, make him odds on, he wins. Peter, you go first.
Yeah, look, this is a pretty, as you would expect for the race. You know, you have 3 very, very high-class horses in this race, the top 3 in the betting, and the others in it as well, obviously, are worthy of respect. But you'd have to focus on the top 3. And it's interesting because Ancient Truth has beaten Wimbledon Hawkeye further than Lion Winter beat Wimbledon Hawkeye. Now, Wimbledon Hawkeye was running in his 3rd race against the Lion in Winter, so obviously, you know, he would have improved and would have been maturing and everything, so he's entitled to get closer to him. But it's interesting in more ways than one, because it's interesting that on the line through Wimbledon Hawkeye, the Lion in Winter has a bit of, you know, ground to make up on Ancient Truth, and yet William Buick is riding Shadow of Light. So it's, you know, it is very interesting there's bits and pieces that you can fit together there to try and make sense of it. I think the Lion in Winter is the one to beat. Yeah, I do. Whether or not he's any value around even money, I don't know, because he's up against two worthy opponents, if that makes no mistake. But if you're asking me who's the most likely winner is, I'd say the Lion of Winter. And if you're asking me who the value was, I'd say Ancient Truth. So that means I'll go for Shadow of Light. No, look, I have to go for the Lion of Winter. I think he's the most likely winner. Even money's a bit tight, but he looks a very classy horse. And I remember last time when he won, they interviewed Aidan before, and he was a bit worried about the trip. He said that might be as short as he wants, but he never looked in doubt, and he won quite comfortably. So, yeah, I'll take him over the other two. But, you know, I think they'll push him, but I think he might just be maybe a length or two. Well, a length too good for them, maybe.
Peter, do you know, or like Emmet, do you know what the Lion in Winter is? Because it's a weird name, isn't it? It's a bit of a weird like name for a horse.
Yeah.
Do you have an answer for us?
Well, hopefully, like, you know, like I googled it the other day, so I just thought it's a bit of a strange name. But anyway, like for boring people out there that do want to know, it's actually a film. It's a 1968 film about Henry II that starred Peter O'Toole and Catherine Hepburn. And it actually was the first ever film that Anthony Hopkins and Timothy Dalton of James Bond
legend
fame starred in. But yeah, anyway, it's a film like that for anyone that was interested. Some people might know that, some people might not. But we're here.
So the lads obviously like that film.
Yeah,
I've never seen that film, but I am fascinated with the Coolmore names, and they named the Philly Heaven's Gate, which is after like one of the worst box office bombs in history that really completely transformed Hollywood. Sarah Lynham is much more of a film buff than me. She can explain it to you, but essentially a director was given free reign to do whatever he wanted, and it was the last time that happened because the film was a complete disaster and the studios took over then with more. That's why Marvel movies only cost $200 million to make these things. So complete, total insanity. All right, The Lion in Winter. We're all going to watch that this weekend.
Well, God, yeah. I mean, it doesn't look I think it won a load of awards. But anyway, I think, I'm not sure I will be. 1968, I think it was made. But anyway, that's a bit of facts for you there. But yeah, it looks like, I mean, the thing I looked at, look, you're right. I mean, Shadow of Light sort of caught us all a bit off guard last time, didn't it, when it beat Whistlejacket in the middle park. And it just was, I don't know. I mean, Whistlejacket's sort of one of those horses this season, isn't it? It keeps sort of winning, then throwing one in, and then winning again. And
do you know what I think Whistlejacket's going to do? I think he's going to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf over a mile.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Don't give John a heart attack.
I think he'll stay a mile doing handstands.
No. John said not in a horse box. He wouldn't stay 7. Don't give him a heart attack. Come on.
And I really like John, and I don't know him.
so
Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I think he will stay. Anyway, that's another story for another day. Proceed, Andy.
But yeah, I mean, O'Brien, he's won this 8 times, and he actually only needs one more to be the all-time Dewhurst record holder. So he's gone from the last race to never winning it to this one. Being the all-time, he just got one. He's joint with John Porter and a guy called Frank Butters, who trained a load of winners back in the day. But yeah, Shadow, it's just whether it stays, isn't it? I mean, it looked super impressive last time, didn't it? Shadow of Light over 6. It wasn't stopping, was it? But they've supplemented it, like you say. William Buick was on board this time. But Ancient Truth, I mean, of the 3, that would probably be the one I'd probably just put a line through. And mainly because I had a quick look back on the times, right? Last time, the Lion in Winter, they both ran over 7 furlongs. All right, look, they were at different tracks, okay? One was at York and one was at Newmarket. But Lion in Winter, 1 minute 21:58. Ancient Truth, 1 minute 25. I think they came on pretty similar ground. So there's almost 4 seconds there. And I don't know.
But what about the line of form with Wimbledon Hawkeye that Ancient Truth?
Yeah, there's obviously, there is. I mean, there is form to tie both of them in as well. But that form's been franked since as well, isn't it? With Hawkeye and winning the Royal Lodge more recently.
That's right.
So, look, I mean, you can sit here and make cases for all three of them, and even Seagull's 11 if you really want to. But look, the one that's probably got the most potential, the Lion in Winter, we all know it's going to be better next year over further as well, being by stars. But
that's the thing that worries me.
Yeah, exactly. It's already fab, isn't it, for the Guineas? City of Troy obviously won this last year. Is it going to be another City of Troy? We don't know yet, but it's on the right path. It wins this, gives O'Brien its 9th winner in the Dewhurst for me.
I like, in all seriousness, like, I'm being playful at the start. This guy goes and wins. Like, you could be very critical of this form, and just be really, really analytical of it. You're now looking at a 10 to 11 shot with Jeff Banks bet. We're not talking about a 2-1 shot here. So the Acomb at York almost certainly didn't suit the Godolphin horse. And that was something we talked about on TalkSport 2 beforehand, that neither of these horses might like York. Because that Acomb Stakes runs more like a 6.5 furlong race. And some horses really love York and some horses just don't take to it at all. Ryan Moore just decided, all right, I'm going to take the bull by the horns. If one of you is good enough to beat me, fair enough. But he goes out, controls it, makes all, and wins. And caught Buick off guard that day. I'd say that Godolphin horse is still very, very good and want to be keeping an eye on. Little bit concerned we haven't seen him since. Wimbledon Hawkeye comes out and franks the form. So on the plus side, he's been a very good winner on debut. Curra Wood, I don't know what to make of him. But Ides of March is back in behind. He's obviously massively franked the form. He was quietly back that day as well on his debut, the Lion in Winter, and the further he went, the better he was. He was a really, really good winner. They've taken him to York for the Acomb Stakes. Aidan hadn't won that race since 19 Dickety-Doo, but he's got so many 2-year-olds and there's so many races in the UK, you may as well bring them over there. And they were clearly going for the trainer's title this season because they went close last year. And they're like, we'll just win it this year. He comes over, wins pretty well. The form has worked out well. But do you want to take odds on about him?
Yeah, that's the only thing, isn't it? But it's all factored in. It's the O'Brien, it's Ryan Moore, it's probably people latching on to even City of Troy winning it last year and all kinds of stuff like that.
Well, Shadow of Light's had more experience, but he's got the higher official rating and the higher RPR, but he has had more opportunities to showcase that. I don't like him over the trip because I'm taking Charlie Appleby at his word. Commonwealth Cup horse. He's not a Guineas horse. But now you're going to go over 7 furlongs. Time form, Shadow of Light is 131. Lion in Winter is 130p, so he should beat him because he's got the improvement to come. Ancient Truth is 121p, so he has a lot to find on time form to get to him. So on that, the Lion in Winter is more appealing. What about Expanded? Only 7 days after making his debut when he was a little bit green, comes out best that day, beats a horse with experience. Been sent off.
No, he couldn't. He'd have to be a machine to beat those three, all of them on the second run 7 days after Emmet.
Isn't it?
He'd have to.
Isn't it wild though that they're putting him in the race? Only a week later.
It is. Yeah, good point. It is, but I mean, these top three have very good form, and like they really do. I mean, I mean, look at their form. There's only one of them's lost one race by 3/4 of a length.
Yeah,
and running in top class races as well. And I mean, there's nothing else can win this race. And don't even look there. Don't even waste your time. Don't even put them for a forecast.
And
it's going to be the two of the top three are definitely going to fill first and second. It's just they might even fill first, second, third.
Yeah, okay. they should, didn't they? But,
these are very good horses. Yeah, I mean, but I agree with you. Is the Lion in Winter any value, Andy? What do you think? I'd say he's the right price and the one to beat. But again, betting is all about value. So but then again, you also want to bet winners. So sometimes you get confused.
I mean, it's interesting on debut. I mean, it won at 11-2, didn't it? As you said, Emmet, Ryan was on Ides of March, went off 5-4 favourite, ended up coming third. Massively franked the form since, and so is the Hawkeye as well. The horse is beaten since that race. Is it value? Don't know. Probably about the right price, I think, just because of a lot of people. Yeah, so 52 days off, isn't it? A lot of people are going to expect a bit of improvement from second run to third run. And yeah, I don't know. I just think, well, look, draw 5, another big plus. 50% of the last 6 have come from that draw. But I mean, look, there's only 6 runners here, so realistically, the draw is probably not going to play much of a part. But it is, worth just chucking in there that draw 5 has won 3 of the last 6 of the Dewhurst as well, and the line in winter has got draw 5. So look, I think let's just go with it. Let's have another clean sweep, shall we?
I don't know if I want to back him. I think if I'm betting on him, I'm putting him in one of my like elaborate each way scumbag massive multiple bets. So he's going to be in there with Shackleton, Silver Peak, and Skillet. I don't know if I want to back him on his own. And I really like him, and I'm very excited about what he can do, but he's short. Even if it was Jeff, come on, 5-4.
What price would you make him?
5-4, I think.
What price would you stand? 5-4. So
I didn't say I'd lay him at that.
5-4.
Yeah, I'd back him at 5-4, but I wouldn't lay him. I wouldn't lay him at all, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Just I know what you mean.
It's just whether or not you don't have to place a bet in the race, but if you do want to, make sure you place your bet with Jeff Banks Bet, because you can get a refund on some of your losses. 10% of your net losses back.
The more you think about it, the more he's more likely winner. I mean, these are Brian horses that win first and now to their second string. That kind of nearly always tells you, obviously, that they're going to come on a lot first, and they clearly did. And that's good form. I mean, the Wimbledon Hawkeye is a very, very good animal. Yeah. And that, it's good form. But, again, we come back, like, he's the right price and he's tight at that. But I wouldn't want to be laying him. But sometimes you see an even money shot and you're like, yeah, I definitely want to lay him. I wouldn't want to be laying him at even money. At the same time, I wouldn't be piling on. So,
do you think he'll go odds on?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. He shouldn't. There's no reason to think why he should. But if the lads think this is an absolute machine, then
he's odds on already.
Is he?
Probably is with some, definitely. Yeah.
I'd say Saturday morning, some people will try and get a little bit brave and push him out to evens when the best odds guaranteed are coming in, and then you're going to see what the boys want to do. And I'd say they're going to want this guy going off well backed, because they like the perception of a well backed winner. They like the perception of we knew he was going to win.
The City of Troy last year was 8-15. We've had 5 of the last 9 winners have been odds on. Yeah. It's been a massive race for the favourites. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the last 9 as well, favourites. But yeah, I mean, realistically, people probably sort of latch on to the jockey bookings with the Godolphin ones as well, and you would be shocked to see Ancient Truth sort of drifting a tad just based on that.
So what are they doing here, though? Like, if they really think that this horse is the superstar that they've been telling everybody he is, why have you put Shadow of Light in this race? Winter is coming. Put it down, pick it up. The Line in Winter gets the job done for us. This is a paid advertisement from BetterHelp Therapy Online. What are your self-care non-negotiables? Maybe you never skip leg day or therapy day. When your schedule is packed with kids' activities, big work projects, and more, it's easy to let your priorities slip. Even when we know what makes us happy, it's hard to make time for it. But when you feel like you've no time for yourself, non-negotiables like therapy are more important than ever. If you've ever been in therapy, then like me, you know how beneficial it can be. But it's not just for those who've experienced major trauma. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and setting boundaries. Therapy empowers you to be the best version of yourself. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a registered therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. With almost 5,000 therapists in the UK already, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a wide variety of expertise. Visit betterhelp.com/Furlong today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Furlong. This is a paid advertisement by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at BetterHelp.com/Furlong to get 10% off your first month and get on your way to being your best self. 2 mile 2. The Club Godolphin Cesarewitch Handicap. Betting with Jeff Banks Bet is Sea of Sands is now 7-2. Dearie me, this Willie Mullins gamble is absolutely insane. The Emmet Mullins gamble is kicking off too, with Javerak Caveron having his second start, isn't that right, for the Arch?
Yeah, he was punted off the boards at Galway, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, that's right. He was. And
Very heavily back. Yeah.
Haley Turner gets the right, a 6-1 shot. 6.5, who ran well for Gavin Cromwell in the Irish version, is an 8-1 shot. The Shunter, last year's winner, 10s for Emmet Mullins. Dawn Rising stays longer than the mother-in-law at 12-1 shot. Peter Michael, who is going to win the Cesarewitch Handicap?
Well, I can give you the TriCast if you like. Would you like that?
Easy game.
There we go.
Easy game.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Look, 25 runner handicap. One of them has only ran once in Ireland. Mullins has it. God knows. Looking at his form, I mean, you look at his form and you're thinking, why are you buying that horse? But obviously they have their, the horse has had 2 years in between leaving his old trainer and coming to Willie. Willie does that sometimes. I don't know if that was done by design this time, but I mean, if you take away names of trainers and everything, and you're just looking at this, and you're looking at this horse's form, and you're seeing him 9-2 for this race, you'd be thinking to yourself, what are the odds compilers smoking, But he'll probably absolutely piss in with Willie Mullins. He's booked William Buick. It's just, you just wonder how he improves these horses. It's incredible, really. It's just, I mean, I'm looking at this horse's form, and he's running in Porsche races in Germany, and he's being hammered, and all of a sudden he's favourite for a 25 runner race with the horses have probably been lined up for months first. But anyway, he's probably going to win. I mean, they had one, didn't they have one that was mightily unlucky in York, similar to this?
Yeah.
I forget the name of him, but similar kind of profile. And mightily unlucky, would have won by, God knows how far he would have won by. Was that the race Extensio won, was it? I think
no,
it was it?
Was it the... Oh... I have a feeling it was the Saturday race that was it.
And by the way, Jesus, wasn't Extensio impressive over hurdles again there?
Very.
Wow. And I'm a major. He caught my when was it? Sylvia O'Donnell rode him in Leopardstown behind Henry's horse, Harry's Legacy. This going back a good while ago, and that was when I first noticed that horse. And he's progressed and progressed, and my God, I was taken by his performance over hurdles. I wish they would concentrate hurdling with that horse, because the horse, just when you saw a hurdle, only second run, you could visually see him physically quickening when he sees the hurdle, and he just attacks him and jumps amazing for a horse only having the second run. But anyway, that has nothing to do with this race, so sorry. Going back
Actually,
to this race.
we got Emmet. You got to change the thing. Look on the race.
Oh, well done.
Look down here.
There we go.
People think it's a 2.25 mile race.
Well spotted, Andy. Thank you.
Look, 25 runners. Look, you could give a chance to a lot of them. I'm not going to waste any more time. And you have to respect Mullins in this race, Emmet as well. You have to respect them. They're capable of finding improvement from anywhere. But I'm going to take two in this at nice enough prices. I'm going to take Manxman, who I think will run a big race. Whether he's good enough to win, I don't know, but he shouldn't be a million miles away from the places. I thought he did it well last time in South well, and he was progressing, and he'll stay all day as well. And I think Alfonso Legrand is a price around 25, 33-1. I don't think you could rule him out either for Tony Martin. Oh, sorry, not Tony Martin. Tony Martin's, what relation is the trainer to Tony
Sister.
Martin? Sorry. Sister, so it's not Tony Martin training the horse.
So are we saying that Tony will not be there celebrating and advising the jockey beforehand as to how to ride, and then won't be in the winner's enclosure celebrating?
I don't know, but we know he's not the one training the horse, right? So I think, yeah. Like Gordon wasn't when he was banned.
Oh,
Great band.
Sneezy
Worked
Foster
very well.
came into Cullentra and did an amazing job, I'll have you know.
Incredible. It just makes a mockery of everything, really.
And Tony Martin won this in 2007, didn't he?
He did.
With who? What was the horse? I think was it the Heartbreak City? No, it wasn't the Heartbreak City. That was too long ago.
I'll
give you a clue. Cricket.
Was it Topspin?
Close.
No, that was the Rams. No, Top Seas was the Rams. Sorry. Give us another clue, Emmet. I'm not that bright.
It's a part of your body, and then there's a cricket link.
Jesus.
Like if you're a bowler.
I don't know much about cricket, I have to say. God.
It's a type of bowler.
Fast bowler.
Yeah. No,
No?
that doesn't ring a bell.
Leg spinner.
Give us another clue.
Leg spinner.
Leg spinner, is it?
We'd be here all day if I gave you another clue. Come on, leg spinner.
Yeah, okay. But look.
Bowler.
Dang it.
Manxman and Alphonse are grand at a price, but you could give a chance to, as usual, as we know in this type of races, to nearly at least 50% of them. But they're the two I'm going to go with.
Hip Hop Del Wa
would be my bigger one.
Hip Hop Del Wa was the horse. And the
was
Ebor.
That against Extensio, no?
No, it was in the Ebor.
It was against Extensio. Oh, the Ebor, sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Manxman is a 12-1 shot currently with Jeff Banks bet. The thing I find interesting about Alphonse Legrand, not only the fact that he's trained by Tony Martin's sister, is the fact that he was a 66-1 shot for the Irish Cesarewitch, but he's a 20-1 shot for this one. Isn't this just a little bit like Langer Dan? Oh, he's a Cheltenham Festival winner who's 10-1 for his first race, then he's 66-1, then he's 66-1, then he's 40-1. Oh, look, he's 13-2.
I remember that horse. I don't know if you guys remember going back, that Alphonse Legrand. When was it? Hold on. Let me just see now, because it's a while ago. He was given a ride. I think the horse got banned. I don't know if you guys do you remember this. The horse got banned for. Where was it?
Or was this?
Oh yeah, it was the one in Thurles when the woman rode him. If you want to watch that race, Jesus. He ran a handicap hurdle off 92, and then he was banned for months after that. But he's somehow found improvement from a tender ride.
Held up in rear, headway going okay when jumped slightly right 2 hours, keeping on when jumping slightly right last, ran on, switched right and tenderly handled run-in, nearest finished. 42-day ban, breach of rule 212C, failed to obtain best possible placing, open 12s, touched 11s. Who was backing him? You are not clued in.
yeah. There you go. But you should watch that race, yeah. But the horse has done well after that. But it's a bit sour when horses go on to win big races after, they're schooling in public, basically, So, but anyway, happens a lot. So that's the game we're in.
Yeah, well, one for the good guys, 20s. Might very well go and get the job done. I thought he'd run a big race in the Irish Cesarewitch, actually, and he did. To be fair, he was staying on real well.
Yeah,
I find it intriguing that he was such a big price that day, and now he's 20s. Maybe it'll change on the day. Andy, who do you like?
Well, let's reel off a couple of stats first, just to sort of, you might be able to whittle down the field. Most of the recent winners have been 4-year-olds or older. I think that ticks most of them. Is there a 3-year-old in it this year? Don't think there is, but 16 of the last 22 have been 5 or older, so that there's quite a few 4-year-olds in there. But there's not really a draw angle, over a mile to 2. I don't really think there's going to be. High, low, all over the shop in recent years. Weight is probably the one to sort of cling to. Is 18 of the last 22 have been 9 stone 2 or less. All of the last 11 have been 9 stone 2 or less. So it's quite that knocks out the first 7, including Queenstown, Ryan Moore, O'Brien's never won this. I think Ryan Moore has actually. He won it years ago on a Martin Pipe horse actually, called Miss Farah 2002. But anyway, that's got 9 stone 12. And look, I can't remember the last time a horse won this with 9 stone 12. I mean, we had a Aim to Prosper won it with 9-10 in 2012. But I think you have to go back a fairly long way. I think it's 1976 or something like that to find the last horse that's won it with a massive burden like 9 stone 12. That also knocks out the last 2 winners of the race, the Shunter, who won it last year, 11-year-old now, and Run for Oscar. But this is sort of a bit of a weird one, is that it's quite surprising that in the Cesarewitch there's never been a back-to-back winner, of the race ever, bearing in mind that it was first run in 1839. And unless I was like, my eyes were going a bit, wow, looking at all the winners and stuff, but there's never been a horse that's come back and won it in back-to-back year. So the shunter will be trying to create a bit of history there. The only horse that's won it twice is Aim to Prosper, which won it, then never ran in it, I think, and then won it again in 2010 and 2012. So Run for Oscar can try and emulate that. But look, that's up £13 from when it won last time. The shunter's only £5 higher, but I think it's only run once, I think, since winning this. Massive layoff to overcome. So probably rule those two out. Look, Mullins, you wouldn't be surprised if Mullins wins this. He actually only needs one more win to become the joint winning trainer.
What?
Of this. Yeah, which is again mental, which I looked at earlier. And bearing in mind his first winner was only in 2018.
What?
He had like 3 on the spin. But yeah, the leading trainers, there's two guys, one guy called William Day and another guy called Matthew Dawson, who won 4 each back in the 1800s. No trainers won it more than 4 times. So yeah, Mullins gets another one, then he becomes the equal trainer in the race.
That's insane.
But look, last year he had one that the Buick was booked for. Can't remember the name of it now, but it got sent off favourite and sort of bombed out, came, down the field or whatever. So, these Mullins horses can quickly get, not great value. And this is Sea of Stands is sort of ticking that box at the moment. Do you really want to back in a 4-1 shot in a 25 horse race?
No,
probably not, mate. So favourites have got a terrible record as well. Only 4 in the last since 1993 have gone in. So if it does get sent off favourite, so yeah, they're sort of a load of negs there really. But on the weight stat, it does get in just about. It's got 9 stone 2 Sea of Sands, so that's fine. But the 3 that I'm coming down on, I quite like Manxman as well, Peter, that you touched on. Won at Southwell last time out, set the second in that race, which is a horse called Warmonger. That's won pretty easily since. One bolted up, I think, at Kempston, won by over 4 lengths, I think. So that's Frank de Form. It's only up £4 from that last run. Gets in here with lovely weight really, 8 stone 5. Sean Bowen takes another 3 off. It's won 50% of its races on turf. So yeah, Manxman definitely one for the short list. The Huey Morrison one done us a favour a few weeks ago, didn't it? With the Not So Sleepy, he won this race before in 2016 as well, and he's got the winner of the. It came second, didn't it, in the trial 3 weeks ago at Premier Liege. Is it Liege or whatever? Anyway, look, it travelled superb that day. If you watch it back, I'm not quite sure how it didn't win. It sort of just got outstayed by something just at the end. But the first 2 pulled quite a long way clear that day, 7 lengths of the third. I'm not quite sure whether that trial, does sort of stack up in terms of the real race. I don't think many have probably gone on, but around 14-1, is it, or maybe a bit bigger?
Yeah.
Then I just think it's interesting. They put in the first time blinkers on it. They've got a claimer on it as well, taking 5 off. It's got a nice racing weight, so that's one for the short list as well. And then I just think you Irish boys have dominated in this race, haven't you? The last 6 or 7 years. Only Henderson's won it with Buzz that sort of bucked the trend. But Gavin Cromwell, I know he hasn't won the race yet, but I just think he's the kind of trainer that will just join the Irish party here. And he's 6.5. That, like you said, Emmet, it ran well, didn't it, in the Irish Cesaro, which came third. It's only up £1 for that.
Yeah.
It's only had 8 runs. Should have more to come. Only gets 8 stone 8 here. And I just think that, if you're going to sort of whack in they think the Irish are going to carry on their good run. I just think Gavin Cromwell, he loves coming over here and nicking our races, doesn't he?
The man's a genius. He's a genius.
He is.
5 Furlong Group 1 winner to winning Grand Nationals.
So yeah, we're going to go with those 3. Manxman 6.5, and the Morrison one, Premier Liege, whatever it's called.
I think 6.5 is really interesting, and she's still. I mean, who knows how good she could be. Robert claiming the £3 off is going to be pretty useful. I'm taking one swing at this. I don't know if this is a really appealing betting race or like anything could win essentially, and they're all massive prices. But the one horse that really interests me, I might need the men in white coats to have a very, very strong word with me and sedate me heavily. But I'm backing Jamie Spencer.
Jamie Spencer.
Do I need...
in a 25 runner handicap?
Yeah.
Hell. What do you want? A heart attack? Odds on he's going to get blocked.
This fella has to be well handicapped, isn't it, Dowie? Market 92. He's second in the Galway hurdle off 134. Come on, he has to be. Well, there has to be a massive race in this fella. There has to be. Won impressively in the lead up to the Cheltenham Festival, then was one of the few horses to actually get into the race in the Fred Winter when beaten by one of the handicap plots of the entire festival in Lark in the morning. He got within 2.25 lengths of him that day, probably feeling the effects of that when beaten at Ferryhouse afterwards. Went to Royal Ascot, was a big price in that race, but ran all right and then shaped really, really well. Ran a massive race in the Galway hurdle. Back here, Jamie Spencer, hold up right. They're going to go hard in front. There's plenty of pace on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean Elliot again. He's another one of the you Irish boys. You wouldn't be surprised. He had the second last year, didn't he?
Yeah.
The Pied Piper, and he will pop up at some point.
Man's a genius.
Yeah. Jamie Spencer's won it once before. Quiz time. On a horse that's won the Triumph Hurdle.
Oh.
Jamie Spencer. Come on, Jamie. Come on, Spencer. Come on. Stays on. Finishes 7th.
You want the trainer?
Yeah, at least.
Philip Hobbs.
Philip Hobbs. Triumph Hurdle.
It's the Jumps boys win this.
Yeah, they had a little spell, didn't they, of Henderson and Martin Pipe used to win it a few times, didn't they?
I don't know, I can't remember. Philip Hobbs.
Philip Hobbs won the Triumph in around...
Oh, the Grey!
The Grey!
He was a real good horse. Oh, he was a very, very good horse. The Terry Warner Silks. Grey, Terry Warner.
Booster Silks.
Yeah, but he wasn't Rooster Booster. Won the Triumph Hurdle.
Gumball. No.
Detroit City.
Before that.
Detroit
City, 2006.
Well done, Emmet. What's the prize for Emmet getting that?
Yeah, what am I getting?
A night out with Jamie Spencer. There you go.
He might show up late.
Very good, Peter. Very good.
All right. And on that bombshell, there won't be another bad word said about Jamie Spencer on this show when Nadawi goes and wins.
I know. So look, we're only having a bit of a laugh. And the way he rides his horses, he knows he's leaving himself up to be ridiculed like that. I think he's a good jockey, but it's just the way he rides. It's
and I know
annoying.
I know what I'm asking for by backing him too. I can't complain.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you do, by the way, if you back him and you do complain, you're the fool. You're the fool because you know exactly what he's going to do. But if he pulls this off, the man's a genius. And if he doesn't, that's all right, Jamie. There's another day. What is the nap of the weekend for the boys, the lads, the fellas? Peter Michael, your best bet of the weekend.
Well, Andy was the man last weekend with Tamfana. I don't have strong fancies for the weekend, lads, but obviously, this is the point of having us here. We have to give a nap for the weekend. So I'm probably going to take a chance, and even though it's a crazy race, I'm going to put up Manxman in Cesarewitch. It's a crazy race, and you could give a chance to many of them, but I don't think he'll be a million miles away. So hopefully, if the two Mullins don't have too much in hand, he might be able to mow them down late on. But look, Andy's the man in form with the naps, not me. So all the pressure's on Andy, none on me.
Oh,
12-1 nap in the biggest
he'll be
betting
bigger
race.
than that, I'd say. Yeah, I'd say he'll be bigger than that. That's 12-1. I mean, 25 runner. Yeah.
I like it. Andy, I'm saving you till last because you are in tremendous form. Toss of the coin for me between Shackleton and Silver Peak. So given the fact that Silver Peak is the bigger price, and I've just noticed the Jeff Banks War Room, the boiler room, have told me he's already been cut. 4-1 is gone, 100-30. So got to act fast before this offer goes. He's the nap of the weekend. Yeah. Now, Andy Newton, every time this man, it's 16-1 winning nap, 3-1 winning nap last week. What have you got for us, my man?
Yeah, right. You couldn't make this up. Look, can you read that?
No.
Nah.
Silver Peak.
Way!
Mate.
Go on, Andy!
Manxman as well. Wow.
Yeah, this is what I've written down, okay, before the show. And you guys have just stolen my naps. Like nap thieves you are.
Nap thieves.
Nap thieves.
You can still go for them. It's okay. We can all win together.
You've got something wired up, so check my...
Peter, did you tell him? Dot.
Huh? No, I thought he was playing football and he wouldn't be able to watch the racing, so I didn't even know.
I am again this weekend. I was doing the line again last week and I actually got told off. Someone was going, "Can you concentrate on the game? Please stop watching the racing on your phone." I'm sorry.
And Andy was like, "My nap just won."
Yeah. But yeah, look, we spoke about Silver Peak, and it's just basically that form. You know, if you get time, go back and watch that Monday race at Pontefract. That a horse called, I think it was called Sir Dinadan, Ross O'Brien, and a Beckett combo, absolutely bolted up. This Silver Peak beat that last time, so that's in the Autumn Stakes, 225 at Newmarket, and then Manxman. In the Cesarewitch, each way little squeak. It's a lottery of a race, as we all know, but this form's been franked as well last time out. It gets a low weight. Sean Barron takes 3 off, and I think this one will go well as well. So yeah, let's do it.
Hopefully the gravy train will be overflowing and we'll be in great form when we're back next week and not like licking our wounds and feeling sorry for ourselves. From Peter Michael, Andy Newton and me, Emmet Kennedy, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Best of luck this weekend. We'll talk to you very, very soon on the Final Furlong podcast. Look after yourself and each other. God bless.
The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Jeff Banks Bet. Get up to £500 refunded as real money for new Jeff Banks online accounts after your first month of betting. Use promo code FFP500 at jeffbanks.bet and buy BetterHelp. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Our listeners get 10% off your first month. So give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/FURLONG.